What's up, everybody, and welcome to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's my guy, Jordan Maxson. Jordan, Game 2 just came to a close. Cavs pulled out, 10-point win. Any thoughts off the top of your head, before we really get into the game? Let's reiterate, the Cavs won by 10. It never really got closer than 9, but what thoughts did you have about Game 2?
Let's just dive right in. It was a phenomenal start. We had the energy in the first half. Donovan Mitchell's been nothing but spectacular over these 2 game stretches. He's been a focal point for the energy. He's slam dunking the ball. He's playing defense. He's causing turnovers. He's making beautiful passes. He's getting our big men involved early and often. And that's the formula for success. That was when we were going on these long wins and long streaks early in the season. This was the formula. So just really dissecting and attacking and going right at the Magic. So that's really my impressive high points. What about you?
I think the high points for me have been Jared Allen for the most part through 2 games. I saw the stat. He scored 32 points in these 2 games, and he has 38 rebounds in these 2 games. So, if you do the math there, that's 19 rebounds a game over the first 2 games against the Magic. And that was something we talked about last week before the series started, keys to the series. A key to the series was going to be rebounding and toughness, and I think Jared Allen has done that and more in these first 2 games. I've been really impressed with his effort level on the boards. So let's look back to Game 1, Jordan. Game 1, Cavs roll. They won by 14, held the Magic to 83 points. Like you said, Mitchell played well. He had 30. They did a solid job on Banchero in the first game. What did you take away from Game 1 that made you comfortable going into Game 2?
The defense and physicality of our big men, just like you hit on. Jared Allen played phenomenal in Game 1, constantly going at each other, and see Niang as well. Niang really brought attitude and kind of a really toughness to the Cavaliers, which we haven't seen in a while. So just even though it may not show up on the stat sheet per se, but just that his attitude and his really demeanor, and the Cavs' demeanor is a whole unit, something really we haven't seen all year. So that to me made me 100% confident going into Game 2.
Shout out to Darren for stopping in and watching the show. God, I hate when Doug is right. Darren unfortunately picked the Magic to win in 6, I believe. So, I don't know what those Warriors fans are drinking right now, but it's not going their way. Jordan, I felt the same way. Game 1, the Magic shot 32%, 21 from 3. All things considered, they're just not a good offensive team. It's Paolo Banchero, or it's a forced shot, it feels like. And even with him, it feels like a forced shot a lot of time. Has anything about their offense scared you in Game 2, or was it more the fourth quarter the Cavs just did not play well? Shots weren't going down. They were turning the ball over. Did anything about their offense in Game 2 scare you when we go to Orlando?
Wagner's play of late, it's definitely concerning. He's putting up the stats. He's kind of carrying them overall as a unit. Banchero's going to get his regardless. Mm-hmm. But Wagner stepping up into that second almost frontier role, that second man role for their team, that kind of concerns me, because they're going to play at home, so they're going to have that home magic. They're going to have that crowd that's going to be 100% into him, and he's kind of eating that villainous role right now too, because
loves it.
It feels like when the boos get louder, he kind of plays better. I don't think it's enough to win the series, but that's enough to maybe steal a game from the Cavaliers if they don't step on their throat and be serious in the late third and early fourth quarters.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think, like you said, Paulo Banchero is going to do well. We've done a good job limiting him, making everything difficult for him. Evan Mobley needs a massive shout out for that. It's not just Evan Mobley, obviously, but we've done great team defense on him. We've walled up the paint. We've done a good job making them a 3-point shooting team. They ended up shooting 25% tonight. They shot 21 in game one. Jordan, I think our issue tonight was our open looks that we usually hit just we're going down. We only shot 31% from the 3-point line. We missed 10 free throws. I mean, those are free points and shots that we usually knock down. And in the fourth quarter, like I said, just got cold. Turnovers started to happen. You can't have 15 turnovers against a team like the Magic who like to get out and run, use their athleticism, things like that. You can't just give them free buckets. And I think that was another reason why we lost the fourth quarter. And they made it at least interesting. Like I said, it never got past 9. I felt pretty comfortable the whole game. I also thought the bench came in the first half and did a great job. Isaac Okoro came in with great energy, scored his 8 quick points, and then he ended up with 10 overall. And then LeVert, it's not going to pop off the scorebook, but he had 8 points, and it felt like he had a nice timely 3 in the first half. Those guys kind of kept the run going early. So I did want to shout out those 2 guys for coming off the bench and playing well. Niang, he just hasn't got a shot to go, but I think when he comes in, he brings the right energy. He's going to be tough. He's going to have a hard foul, and he's not going to take any shit from Mo Wagner or any of their bigs. Really appreciate that. So I like when he comes in, gives them a hard foul, and lets them know that he's there. But if he could if we could get him to knock down a 3 or 1 or 2 threes, and just kind of add that to the bench scoring with LeVert and Okoro, I really feel good about game 3. Tonight, Mobley, he just keeps it all year. We're like, what's the step? What's the step? What's the step? I don't think anything's different. I think he's just playing a little bit harder. I think he's a little more prepared this year for the playoff. What have you noticed about Evan Mobley? Besides he's 3 of 7 from 3, which is fantastic for him. Anything you've noticed about him? 17 points tonight. He had a block. Had great defense on Paulo. You say what you want. That he's the head of the snake in terms of defense on their best player. He can switch on to all their wings. 17 points, 7 rebounds. He had the block. Overall, 6 of 9 from the free throw line. I thought he did a decent job there. What were your thoughts on Evan Mobley and how he's played the first 2 games? Because, I think he's looked good. His post game's been solid. He's been tough around the basket. What are your thoughts?
I think he's been looking really well. I think, Donovan Mitchell's finding him for open passes. You're seeing Strus getting involved in the assist game to Evan Mobley, both inside and outside shots. And he's stretching the floor well this year, like you said. He's not going to light up the stat sheet for the 3-point line, but that's something that somebody has to come out and guard. Definitely it's on film now. It's dropping. It's being successful. So he's not just a decoy on the outside to attempt to get somebody to come out and guard him. They're going to have to come out and switch on him, and it's causing a lot of other guys to get open on the inside, and it's causing some of Jared Allen's success. The fact that we can play 2 bigs and not interfere with each other's space is something that the Cavaliers didn't do really well last year, and that's been kind of the evolution of the offense this year when it comes to our 2 big men. So really hats off to Evan Mobley, kind of learning to live in that space with Jared Allen and kind of extend the floor some, especially with some of our guys on injury. So I'm really happy to see that step in his game kind of evolve, and he's cleaning up the rebounds. I think he had 3 offensive boards tonight total out of his rebounding game, and that's
he had 2 tonight. He had 2 tonight, but Allen made up for it with 9 offensive rebounds. 9 offensive rebounds is crazy.
That's been the story of really the postseason, and some of their early late wins that they kind of streaked together early in the season. So the offensive rebound and the second chance points. Because and I know I'm kind of looking ahead, but you look at the Boston, you look at the Celtics, you look at the other competitions that they may have to face. You look at the Bucks, you look at the Knicks. Offensive boards is something that killed us last year. against the Knicks in the series. So to see him step up in that evolution of the game, both Mobley and like you highlighted, Garland and Jared Allen really stepping up to that. It's been fun to watch.
Okay, Jordan. So tonight, Mitchell doesn't shoot it great. He was 9 of 22, 2 of 10 from the 3-point line. Of course, I bet on him to make 3 threes. He only made 2. That crushed me. But overall, not Garland. I thought had a good floor game in the first game. I thought it was a little bit less tonight. But I still think overall he's playing at a high enough level for us to win these games. Any thoughts on Garland? Because he's a guy that we've gone back and forth with all season. Any thoughts on Darius Garland through 2 games?
Game 1 was kind of a masterpiece for him. It wasn't eye popping, but he had that late 3 in the fourth quarter that was kind of the bang and kind of the attitude shot that we needed from a guy to step up and close, whose name wasn't Donovan Mitchell. So that was really positive to see. Tonight was kind of a regression in my eyes.
He shot the ball okay though. Shot the ball okay. Just
he shot efficiently, but just late and the whole team, the whole unit as a group really kind of turned the ball over in the fourth quarter. But late in the fourth quarter, he's got to be that guy. He's got to be, when Donovan Mitchell's energy's been spent and, he carries you for a certain amount of time, Garland, they're giving him the ball late. He's facilitating the offense. He's just kind of doing it really sloppily in game 2. So I think he'll clean it up. I'm 100% confident that he'll kind of get it together. Like I said, everybody as a unit kind of fell apart there. So I don't just hold him fully accountable this time around. But he didn't make those mistakes kind of like we saw at the end of the year. When they went on their 3-2 stretch there. So it was good to see him play clean basketball. But game 1 was a big statement for me because those late points that build so much.
Big 3, that 3 that really kept the lead extended. I know what you're talking about. That was a nice shot by him. I felt like in some of the pick and roll early, he was looking for his step back 3, and that's kind of his go-to move when he's not looking to pass. It's that quick off the, if they go under the screen, he's got that quick step back that leads right into a nice 3. And I thought he used that well early. I would like to see him continue that when the offense gets bogged down sometimes. I just feel like he's pounding the ball too much instead of making a decision and going. But again, we're up 2-0. I feel really good about the 2-0 lead. I think the team has done a great, not because the Magic are a bad offensive team to start with. It's kind of like, are we playing good defense? Are we not? But I know for sure we're playing good defense on Paulo, and we're making him make tough shots and take tough shots. The Magic are such a poor 3-point shooting team. It's really rough. Game 3, Jordan, is on Thursday? Today's Monday, Thursday. Thursday on NBA TV again. We're going to be fighting the good fight again on NBA TV, Jordan. I saw you and some other people talking about how the game is blacked out because we're obviously in Ohio and we get screwed by these stupid TV networks.
That's it. In the regular season, I don't have much of an issue with it, but this is the postseason. This is the playoffs, and I feel like the playoffs in the past have always been the one time a year where it's on a national scale. It doesn't matter what provider you had. When we were growing up, when you and I were growing up, in the 2000s and even late 90s, the playoffs it didn't matter if you had antennas or regular cable. It was kind of something that everybody could get around the TV and enjoy, postseason. So the fact that we kind of have this monopolized and it's such about money and contracts and, stream my fucking channel. And I'm just, I'm seriously, I'm really aggravated with it because we brought in, Sling TV tonight just for a one-time price to get to some of the playoff games, and it's even blacked out on there, and it's advertised that they had NBA TV. So I agree. Can't watch it because I'm in Southern Cincinnati it's ridiculous. I'm paying my price, like, just for the love of God. I just want to see it. So I did illegally download it, and I got a couple cheat codes from a couple Marines that I knew. out west, and we got through it. So I will definitely be tuning in all the way for Game 3, which is I think it's just ridiculous.
It is.
Even the steakhouse where me and my family went to go start and watch the game, they didn't have access to it either. And that's Texas Roadhouse they tried and it was blacked out there. So the fact that it's even blacked out at bigger bars and places that buy the direct TVs, buy all this extra sports shit, the fact that it's blacked out there, that's really kind of shameful on your consumer at this point. So you can't even go somewhere and get a drink and watch it. That's ridiculous.
I needed that rant from you tonight. I really enjoyed that. You're 100% right. We're getting fucking screwed by this whole operation. Like, we're missing out on something we really want to watch, and it just sucks. Like you said, we both had to illegally stream it, and on Thursday we're doing the same thing because they've left us no option. These places wonder why people stream illegally and do this kind of stuff. Well, here you fucking go. This is what happens when you mistreat the consumer. They're not going to keep paying for your stuff. They'll find a different way to put it on. And, we got to watch the game. Jordan, Game 3. What is your biggest concern for Game 3?
My biggest concern is if the Cavaliers don't come out in the first quarter and continue to make that thumping statement of games 1 and 2, that the Magic, they might come away with one. I think it's going to be a nail biter on Game 3 just because of the energy shift in the atmosphere. And, closing out a game, even though that I did see if you were able to, for those of us that were able to watch it, Donovan Mitchell was standing next to JB Bickerstaff and the other coaching assistants. And he was still, even though the clock was 0, he was pointing out things that were kind of sloppy and things that were out of place. So there's a little bit of confidence there that they're going to clean it up. But if they come out in that kind of we're up 2-0 confidence and they don't really they really don't Mike Tyson them in the first quarter, I think we'll give them hope, and it's going to come down to who has the ball last, and that's not the game I want to see the Cavaliers play in round 1. So that's my only the Cavs not bringing the energy.
You brought up the first quarter. Cavs are outscoring the Magic in 2 games, 63-44 in the first quarter. Like you said, it's got to happen right away. I'm worried about just how hard the Magic are going to try to punch the Cavaliers in the first quarter of that game. I think it's going to be immediate that they're going to come out and it's going to be try to be the most physical game they've played this in the series. And I believe because we had that experience of getting chin checked by the Knicks last year, that it won't be as bad. But in my prediction, I do think the Cavs, if they were to lose the game, it would be Game 3. I think if anything, we win this series 4-1, and if we lose, it's Game 3. If we lose, I'm still going to bet on us to win. I'm still going to be riding for us to win. But I think this is the one. If it was going to happen, is Game 3, because everything is going to feel like it's probably going Orlando's way in Game 3 because you switch towns, all that kind of stuff. The refs are going to be a little bit, it happens. You get a little tweak your own, the other direction. But if the Cavs can win that first quarter or keep it like 25-24, something in that range, then I think that's a win for the Cavs, and I think we win Game 3. But I just feel like there's a good chance that maybe the Magic come out hot in that first quarter next on Thursday. And I'm hoping everybody's got their chin strap buckled and they're ready to go, because that's going to be huge. Look for the Magic to definitely come out strong in that Game 3 first quarter.
And let me ask you this as an analyst's point of view. Do you think we're going to see anybody we haven't seen in the rotation yet going into Game 3? Are we going to change anything? Are we going to add any just slight wrinkles at the end of the quarters if they're up, or are we just gonna keep going with the bread and butter that's working?
I wouldn't personally change what's going on right now. I think we stick with what we've got. If you look at we're winning the series by 24 points right now.
Right.
I think that's a healthy margin. I think the guys that are playing are doing a good job. If anything, I would maybe look to maybe at the end of the first half, maybe get Morris in there just to get him some time. But that would be probably the extent, is maybe get Morris some burn towards right before halftime. Other than that, I'm happy with what I've seen from these guys, and I think this is the right group that's been playing. Question back to you then. What would you like to change? Is it Morris? Is it maybe a couple Thompson minutes to close out the quarter? What are you thinking?
Because they're kind of equally, Tristan Thompson has been a winner before, so I wouldn't mind. Even if it was if we had a couple fouls to give, or maybe just some attitude play from Tristan Thompson. I like to see some more Sam Merrill minutes. If we can get his three-point shot kind of going. I'd like to see him more instead of in situational minutes. Maybe he can come out and play like a bigger kind of rotational piece in the first half. If Donovan Mitchell keeps shooting cold on the three and Strus doesn't really get it going, maybe he comes in for Strus for a couple minutes and we get him in a pick and roll, or we get him some space, or Allen kind of attacks the inside and passes it out to an outlet. I'd kind of like to see him kind of getting more involved. But as for people we haven't seen, like you said, I would like to see some Tristan Thompson minutes. Maybe make a couple of thump statements early in the kind of closing the halftime. He's a guy that's been played in big games, been in big moments. So
for sure,
maybe we can kind of get him going, and especially in other series. I know those guys are going to be, and like I said, I'm kind of using my crystal ball a little bit. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to win the series and move out. So different matchups for different teams, just for Russ purposes, maybe we can kind of get those guys' legs off the bench some, so they're not shock valued into the next series. But I definitely would like to see some Tristan Thompson minutes.
Okay. I think we've hit the Cavs pretty hard. We've got, Thursday night. It's another, I know the draft's happening. I know, going to be a busy night. And I think we're recording Wednesday night this week we're going to do a little draft coverage on Wednesday night. Instead of our normal night. Yeah, instead of our normal night. So, Thursday night, big night, draft, Cavs, gonna be good. But Jordan, let's transition to our Cincinnati Reds. Reds swept the Angels over the weekend, outscored them 17-6 for the series. Thoughts on the sweep of the Angels before we get into tonight's game against the Phillies?
The sweep of the Angels, it goes back to our last show where I was talking last week, and I said the bats would come out hot. I said, they were going to kind of play to level their competition when it comes to playing big names, playing against Trout and company, and they didn't disappoint. The bats came out hot. Stolen bases came out solid, and the offense did their thing. The pitching did just enough to, keep the Angels out of the game, and we didn't give up the long ball to Trout, just like you said. Let's not do it. Let's
pitch around him if you have to. Pitch around him if you have to.
And the Reds pitching staff, we got to tip our cap. They did their job all three games. So really impressive series all the way around for what was a much rebounded West Coast trip. So.
Yeah, no, well said. I wanted to shout out in the third game of the series. Obviously, Frankie Montas goes out with getting hit with the line drive, taking 100-mile plus off the wrist or off the forearm. That sounds dreadful, but that gave the bullpen a huge opportunity, and the bullpen came in and pitched really, really well. I wanted to shout those guys out. I believe the bullpen pitched. They pitched eight and a third, gave up no runs, gave up 6 hits, and closed out the game with a Diaz save. I thought the bullpen really deserved a tip of the cap in that final game of the Angels series, because losing your starter that early and making all the arms, have to work is definitely tough. It was also nice to see Ellie in game 1 hit the 3-run bomb.
Yes.
Nick Lodolo came back through another good outing for him. And just another great series. You get swept out west by the Mariners. You come home, you protect your home park, Great American. You sweep the Angels, who are they're a middle of the pack team right now. So but you got to beat those teams. That's what we always say. Yeah. The Angels, the Angels aren't very good. Well, you still got to beat them, and you still got to go out and perform. And that's what the Reds did. So I wanted to tip the cap to them.
That grand slam was awesome.
Oh, the Tyler Stevenson.
Yes.
Woo, boy. If that guy can get hot, we are a different ball club. So that was exciting. But Jordan, that leads us into tonight's game against the Phillies. The Phillies are obviously a upper echelon team in the NL. They are going to be battling the Braves all year for the top spot in the AL East. 7-0, they blanked the Reds today. Hunter Green, look, after Sunday's game where the bullpen pitches, again, extended innings, 8 innings total, Hunter Green at least ate up 7 innings. He, gave up 4 runs, gave up 7 hits. It just feels like while I give him props for coming out and eating up those innings and being able to stay in and keep the pitch count a little more reasonable, he only threw 99 pitches in 7 innings instead of 98 in 4 innings tonight. So a much more reasonable game for him tonight. We just ran into a buzzsaw, it feels like, in the Phillies, today. They blank a 7-0. Suarez, their pitcher, 4-0 on the year. He's a really, really talented guy. Any thoughts on today's game? We gave up a run in each of the second, third, and fourth and fifth inning, and it's kind of like, how are we going to catch up with Suarez on the hill? So the bats were very cold today. Steers kind of struggled these past couple-ish week. Had 3 Ks today. Ellie struck out. We struck out 9 times as a team. You're not putting runners on base doing that. And we were held to 2 hits. So it was a really rough day at the dish today. What are your thoughts on the Philly series? Because tomorrow's a new day. Luckily in baseball, you get 162 of these things. So you get more chances. Tomorrow's a new day. What are your thoughts on the Phillies?
It's not so much the Phillies. It's the fact that the Reds are I have to double check it. We might have 1 win, but we're damn near winless against left-handers. The bats went totally silent, and that's been kind of the MO right now for the Reds offense. So the continuing struggle against left-handers is kind of it's kind of baffling. It's always kind of presented a problem last season, but it's really kind of a sore thumb right now, and I hope the Reds figure it out, because it's just not. You don't get into playoff baseball, playing that way, going that format. If everybody knows you're struggling against left-handers, they're just going to continue to throw that at you. You said, as far as he's 4-0, not taking anything against him, but that just kind of seems the Reds' MO right now, early and often. So it'd be nice if we broke that mold and kind of got that monkey off our back, but. Hunter Green going 7, it was good to see.
Yeah.
Correction. Going into 6, 7 innings. He stretched it out, but that first inning, I thought was going to set the tone. He went right 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts and a pop out. So, and he was throwing with high velocity on the ball. So, to kind of see him drop off after that was really disappointing, because I really thought he was going to come out with a statement game watching those first 3 batters. So it was kind of really sad to see, but just the Reds offense as a whole. And, like you said, you're down 4-0, and it just kind of goes downhill after that. So it really just kind of continued to see struggles against, the Reds versus left-handers. So I think they'll rebound. I think we'll take tomorrow. I don't think we're going to lose back-to-back games. I think the bats are going to awaken. It's kind of the Reds' MO to do this when we went hot for 3 games, and now we kind of fell silent. But they're going to get it together. You're going to see our usual suspects come out and play. I think Ellie's going to kind of lead the charge there. But it'd be nice to see CES kind of really shake off kind of his funk right now and move forward. But I think definitely Candelario, it'd be nice to see him kind of come out tomorrow with some energy. So I think they play a solid game tomorrow. Give me a 3-2 Reds win tomorrow. I think it's going to be a close one, but I think the Reds are going to do it. They're going to manufacture the runs. I think we're going to see some good stolen bases. I know we kind of had that first inning. It was just a badly timed. We had stuff going on, but it was just a badly timed steal to second. I don't expect the coaching staff to repeat that. So I think they'll move forward. They'll shake this one off. Forget about yesterday and move on.
Yep, they've got Andrew Abbott pitching tomorrow. Andrew Abbott's pitched solid this year, 2.7 ERA in his starts. So I look forward to him being back on the hill and getting the Reds back in the win column. So yeah, I'm with you. I think the Reds take that game tomorrow. Jordan, let's transition though, buddy. We've got NFL draft on Thursday. We're talking NFL on Wednesday. Look, you're the Bengals guy on here. What is this is the last time before we get into some more of the mock draft for our own teams. What is your biggest need for the Bengals in the draft?
I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's trenches. The biggest need, both in round 1 and round 2, is in my mind for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's offensive tackle and defensive tackle, especially at the 3 technique. And those are the 2 biggest wide gaping holes that the Bengals have. Because right now, outside of B.J. Hill, we really don't have a bona fide and solidified defensive tackle. So it definitely would impress me if the Bengals went defensive tackle in rounds 1 and round 3. So I definitely we just need some help there. We have some guys that haven't developed in years 2s and 3s, and camp's going to be competitive. We're going to see a lot of guys leave, but sorely needed. So definitely trenches. Expect the Bengals to kind of maybe do an overreach. I don't think it'll be as bad as the Jackson Carman pick that hasn't panned out, when he was second out. But I think the Bengals, they can't, if the tackle's not there, we can't do another Billy Price and draft one just because we need one. So, he was a center, but we needed a lineman, and we kind of drafted one then. And we bypassed a lot of talent in the draft that year by, drafting by positional need and not best on the board. So if there's a defensive tackle, whether we trade up or stay stagnant at the pick that we're at, they have to pull the trigger. What about the Browns? How are you feeling for going into round? I think you guys have a round 2, correct?
Yeah, we are round 2. We are pick 54. Pick 54. There's going to be some options. There's probably going to be a wide receiver still available that's very talented. I think we're unless there's Troy Franklin lad from Georgia available. I think we can look either at linebacker, which I think this team needs a long-term linebacker. I know some other people think, wide receiver early. Again, like I said, if it's Troy Franklin, if it's Leggett, if it's one of those guys, I understand. But to me, I think we can keep building on that defense. A linebacker that you think could start for the next 5-6 years would be my move. And then if not, we bolster that D line again. There's a lot of good D tackles in this draft. And again, Zadarius Smith is not forever. We're kind of patching a potential hole. Re-signing him. A pass rusher in this spot wouldn't hurt either. So maybe if they could look into a pass rushing linebacker, I think that would be a good option also. But I think we need to unless one of those wide receivers are available, I think we need to attack the D line or linebacker position. And I'll probably reflect that in my mock draft on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there for Cleveland. This draft is loaded with linebacker talent and defensive tackle and defensive line talent. They're going to go rounds 2 and 3. So if you can get a prime guy there in day 2, round 2, I think you guys could find like your franchise, maybe even middle linebacker moving forward. Somebody you can really kind of make an impact, whether he's on special teams, early in his rookie year, and kind of evolve in a defense through packages and just really take over year 2 for longevity. So this would be the draft to do it. This is more so
Right.
probably in the last probably been a good 4 or 5 seasons since the draft has been this front loaded with day 2 and 3 talent that can make an immediate impact on the field defensively. So,
Okay, last question for you on the draft, because we're going to talk about this a lot on Wednesday.
oh, yeah.
Who is your absolute home run pick? If you got this guy A+, lock it in. Who is that guy for you?
I'll let you take that question first because I am so on the line right now.
It's what's the guy's name from Florida State? I'm drawing a blank now that I asked the question. No, he's the D end. I'm looking him up real quick.
I didn't mean highlights. So I apologize.
I was like, I have a minute. I have a minute to think about it. He's what's his name? Gosh darn it, I'm drawing a blank. But he's the defensive lineman from Florida State. Not the first round guy, but he's supposed to be in the second round. I think he'd be a home run pickup if we can get him. And I'll know his name and I'll start with that on for Wednesday. I'm just drawing a massive blank and can't bring his name to mind. What's your pick?
My pick would be my pick would be the offensive tackle if he's there from the offensive tackle from Oregon. Would be fantastic. And the defensive tackle from Texas, his name's slipping my mind right now. Murphy Jr. Everybody's got us pretty much across the board on most mock drafts.
Yeah,
have taken there. I'd like to in a fantasy world if all those guys are off the board and you could get the tight end from Georgia, which I don't think he'll be there. That would kind of remind me of when they drafted Tyler Eifert that year. We didn't necessarily need him. We had Jermaine Gresham on the roster, and he was kind of the best available. So if the Bengals did that just to give Joe Burrow another weapon, I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't be thrilled with it because I've been pounding the table for trenches. So any one of those scenarios would be kind of a dream scenario for me.
The guy that I was trying to name, which I was blanking on super hard, Braden Fisk from Florida State, the D tackle. I think he'd be a really, really big pick. Most mock drafts I've seen him, he's in the mid to late 30s, so we'd have to get lucky for him to fall that far. But again, that's why I'm saying it's a home run if we could get him.
But I think I'm kind of going to reflect mentally that, kind of agree with the Pat McAfee show said that more quarterbacks are going to come off the board in round 1 than you think. So I think some of those guys that are projected into late 20s, early 30s are going to be there on day 2. I think you're going to see some kind of surprise picks because the league is kind of in a more quarterback shortage for starters. I know Denver kind of made the first splash when it comes to
does that even count
back positioning. So
does Zach Wilson even count as a splash?
I do. I count that as a splash for the Denver organization that is kind of nameless right now at the position and all the message and Sean Payton really not having an answer there. It takes them off because they don't have any picks. Really,
that's fair.
So I think that's kind of the first domino effect. It got them off the Jets roster. So now even the Jets can kind of think that they can potentially draft. They're going to have to. Aaron Rodgers isn't forever either. So
that's a good point.
The Jets could splash back into the first round and potentially take a late quarterback. So I think you're going to see quarterbacks go off the board like hotcakes.
That'll be exciting. We'll cover more of that on Wednesday. Obviously, we'll have our draft show preview for Thursday on Wednesday night. We'll probably be on around 8:30 or 9, depending on when everything comes together. But Jordan, great hopping on with you. I'm super excited about the Cavs up 2-0. Reds are playing solid baseball overall. We can't complain. The Guardians have the best record in baseball. I know we get shit for not mentioning them as much. We're just not as local for them. It's just more difficult to get into there.
Playing Valley Sports again.
FC Cincinnati's playing good football down in Cincy, so that's great too. Ohio's playing sports at a high level right now. Ohio State Buckeyes are doing a great job recruiting for basketball. A lot of good stuff going on in Ohio, Jordan.
Little shout out to their men's volleyball team. I think they just won their national championship for Ohio State.
There you go. There you go. Big time.
Going on.
Jordan, any thoughts before we get out of here tonight?
Shout out to the transfer portal. Never seen a Buckeye player be excited to go to Michigan of all places. So
Roddy Guile.
Value of the night for Ohio sports.
That was rough. I saw that. I was like, shit, come on, man. But Jordan, obviously we'll be back on Wednesday. I'm your host, Doug. That's my guy, Jordan. This has been Ohio Sports Talk, and we will see you Wednesday night.